Hello, friends. I've got another one for you, and today is all about why you're not progressing. Now, you may be thinking, well, there's a million things it could be, but I can almost guarantee you are doing too much and you are training too hard. Now, that's a crazy thing for me to say because I've always been an advocate of just full sending every single set, like going to failure, past failure, however you want to define that, partials or whatever. But training like super hard, and that got me very far. But I've had to adjust. I'm a very results orientated trainee, so I will do whatever is necessary to get the best results. And I've found with training every set to failure, I was hitting a hard wall and I could not get past it, and then I'd just need to deload every 4 to 6 weeks, which is crazy now I think back on it. With the doing too much thing, that's never really been an issue for me because I've always again been an advocate of lower volumes for the majority of naturals, but it is something I see a lot in the gym. I mean, I know in all these clips the gym looks super empty, and it is most of the time, but I do also use strategic camera angles, or try to a lot of the time. So there are people milling about, and from what I see, they're just doing too much, and I think this is a really common problem. If you look back at the silver era, this is where I get the vast majority of my training inspiration from. I realise I've gone off on a tangent. I'll come back to the training too hard thing, but yeah, we'll just carry on with this thought for now. Silver era is where I get the majority of my training inspiration from, because it's like the last era of true natural lifters before steroids. And if you look at their routines and the way they trained, they weren't doing much. They were training 3, maybe 4 days a week, and they were hitting 1 set per exercise, and that was it, And this is what I've come back to recently with my full body. And it's always been what's given me the best progress. And to a lot of people, they'll look at it and be like, that is ludicrously low volumes. And there's some nuance there. It depends whether I'm, maximizing a muscle or just sort of doing the bare minimum. But yeah, 9 out of 10 people are just simply doing too much, and it's not helping their growth in the slightest. It's just putting barriers up, essentially. And so many are scared to cut back on what they're doing because they enjoy training, or they have this fear that if they cut back that they're going to lose gains, and when it's precisely the opposite. You just want to signal to the muscle and to your overall system as well. That's a big element of it. that, yeah, you just want to send that growth signal and get the fuck out, basically. And yeah, that all it takes to do that is one set on an exercise, and then you do that multiple times a week, obviously. But yeah, that's it. That is it. And yeah, looping back around to the training too hard thing. Again, this is, hundreds of different factors go into the whys of why we do this. It's seen as glamorous if you're, there's that sort of like the masculine archetype that a lot of us can get caught up in, of just like, oh, I've got to train hard and all of this, and if I don't take the set to failure, I'm a pussy. And it's just like, what are we doing? Like, are we trying to get results, or are we just trying to show off for, I don't even know who? Like, just what are we doing? You know what I mean? And I've found myself caught up in that as well. I'm not saying I'm above that. Yeah, it's just like an innate thing a lot of us have. But if you just strip that back ever so slightly and just leave one rep in the tank, or even two, then your progress is going to go, through the roof. And this is something I'm working on personally. I really struggle leaving that rep in the tank. And I've got to be really conscious of, all the way through the set, I'm thinking, right, leave a rep. And I still, even after doing that, I'll still take a lot of my sets to failure. And because I'm also doing very low volumes, I can get away with it to an extent. But I notice that when I do leave that rep in the tank, this set is a perfect example. I actually left a rep in the tank. And I notice that when I do that, my progression is just so much smoother on a session by session and week by week and month by month basis. So yeah, the core message here is strip whatever you're doing right back. You do not need a lot of work. You do not need to make your sessions arbitrarily difficult. Like muscle building, I'm starting to realize that muscle building is so easy. Like the training itself is easy. Like leaving a rep in the tank, like it's, especially when you're used to going like all out, balls to the wall, it's, it's a doddle. It's so easy. And we come up with all these different fancy training systems that add, arbitrary difficulty to make you feel like you've done like, oh, that was a hard workout. When in reality, it's not getting you anywhere. And you could have so much better progress by just chilling out, leaving a rep in the tank. This set isn't really a good example of that, but whatever. And not doing a gazillion sets for no reason. So yeah, that's it. If you are struggling and you feel like you're not making progress, strip it right back. I would obviously recommend doing full body 3 times a week or every other day. 1 set per exercise. Take that set to, I will say 0, but ideally 1 to 2 reps in reserve. And yeah, just watch yourself flourish. It's that simple. It is that simple. Especially the more advanced you get, this really starts to matter. But anyway, thank you as always if you've made it this far, and I'll see you next time.